Yo, what's good, everybody? Today I'm talking about Terrence Crawford completely and utterly outclassing yet another fellow pound for pounder in Canelo Alvarez. What can I say, people? I was wrong. I thought Canelo would beat Bud. Heading into the fight, I thought there were too many things going against Crawford and there were too many unknown factors. The factors being how he would look at 168. He's always had fast hands and he's never had stamina issues. But I thought his speed and gas tank would be hindered from the extra weight. I thought his legs would fail him in the later rounds, and I also thought Canelo's heavy-handed counters would catch Bud flush and alter the momentum of the fight. But like I said, clearly I was wrong. Once again, Terrence Crawford proved all the haters and doubters wrong, and he answered so many questions with his performance. It appears that despite coming out of a 13-month layoff and weighing in 14 pounds heavier than the fight prior, he has managed to maintain his speed and stamina and even his power at 168, and he took Canelo to school. Similar to how Inoue beat MJ the night after, or the morning after, I should say, Crawford too beat Canelo in every facet of boxing. He thoroughly outboxed him and outfought him in spots as well. The game plan to me was clear. Bud was to stay on the outside, score points from the distance, and keep moving laterally. This plan was designed to keep Canelo from planting his feet and frustrating him. You see, Canelo is an amazing fighter, right? But he needs to meet conditions for him to be amazing. And one of those conditions is the fact that he needs to set his feet to throw something of consequence. Bud and his team, they knew this. So they had Bud constantly move laterally to keep Canelo from being his best. But they also made a point for Bud to stay in the pocket at times, allow Canelo and give him the opportunity to come in and work so that it doesn't look too much like he's quote-unquote running the whole fight. Now, in those moments where Canelo did close the gap, the plan in those moments was to blitz him with your superior hand speed and combination. If you notice, every time Canelo got in range, Bud let his hands go to the head and body, and then he would exit. He was so much faster than Canelo with his feet, his hands, and his processor, aka his mind. He was so much faster in every way. He even set traps, like when he had his back on the ropes, Canelo just strutted forward only to get bopped with a straight left from Bud. And when Canelo realized he just got caught flush, Bud was already out of position to get hit. It was a masterclass. The game plan was flawless. Score points and frustrate him on the outside, catch him coming in, then blitz him when he gets inside. Canelo had no answer for Bud, and he was visibly frustrated, especially in the 11th. Terrible body language from Canelo. It was the opposite of having a good poker face. It was as though he conceded to Bud and he knew he was defeated, because even in exchanges, even when they traded, he was supposed to win in those moments, right? He was the bigger man and supposedly he was the heavier hitter. That was his only path to victory. He was supposed to inflict damage in those moments, but even in those sequences, he was beat. Bud's punching technique made the difference in exchanges. He was much sharper and concise with his punches. Canelo often threw wide shots, Bud threw straight shots. Common sense would tell you that for the most part, straight punches will reach the target faster than wide looping shots. Bud also varied his punches very well. He didn't do too much of anything. He didn't spam a certain punch or combination that would give Canelo a chance to catch on and counter. He even threw off rhythm shots to keep Canelo on his toes. He did everything in this fight. One of my favorite shots was when Bud threw a straight punch. I forget which round it was. I forget if it was even a jab or a southpaw straight. But he threw a straight punch right when Canelo was stepping forward. Right when Canelo planted his foot with a step. The timing and precision to pull off something like that was immaculate. It really shows you that Bud was just in a flow state in there. He is masterful when it comes to this boxing shit. Bud is hands down an all-time great. He is one of the few that you can genuinely make an argument for him to beat any other greats. He's so smart and cerebral and dynamic with his approach to boxing, even at an advanced age of 37 and at a weight class 6 divisions from where he started. Incredible stuff. But really quickly too is that in my prediction video I said that really and truthfully the best way for Bud to beat Canelo was to fight him like how he did Victor Postol, but that was a decade ago and that was at 140. But then I thought maybe his legs would probably betray him, because like I said, that was 10 years ago and that was at 140. This time around he's a decade older and this is at 168. So I thought the chances of him being able to pull that off were very slim. And at the same time, even if he were to pull it off, I thought there would be a high chance of robbery, because boxing judges don't like it when you quote unquote run. So I said the other way he can beat Canelo was to just be the fighter he has been, a sharp southpaw counterpuncher. But I thought this would be the more dangerous but realistic option. This man, Terrence Crawford, at 37 years old, fighting the top dog at 168, blended the two styles perfectly and executed the game plan to perfection. Simply a brilliant performance from one of boxing's greats. What more can I say, really? Excellent boxing from Terrence Bud Crawford, but that's it for me. What did you think of the fight? What do you think of Bud? With Alexander Usyk, Naoya Inoue, and Terrence Bud Crawford performing the way they have been and accomplishing what they have been accomplishing, how do you rank these three in today's pound for pound list? It's crazy. It is crazy. Boxing is so good right now. So I want to know what you guys think of that. So leave your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you have a lovely day. Oh, and one more thing. I do want to give Canelo a massive shout out for taking this fight and giving the opportunity for Bud and for us to watch this incredible event. We gotta realize that without Canelo signing this contract, this thing wouldn't have happened, right? And he was gracious in his defeat. He made no excuses, and Bud was humble in his victory. It was a lot of respect, and you love to see that from two greats. So shout out to both of these guys. It was an incredible night, and I really am grateful to have been able to watch this live. So shout out to Canelo, and shout out to Bud, and shout out to y'all for watching this video.